And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Our great friend Dave Petzo is joining us from the Petzo Center, Petzo Financial, and no shutdown for you.
No shutdown at all. I guess it's just going to be, for most all of us, another day, another dollar, and we're all just working away. So, no, we're going to be fine, and I don't know that this government shutdown is going to matter much to the market, but it will eventually. If it wears on, it's going to wear on the market because of the possibility of losing the momentum for Trump's agenda.
Well, when you take a look at not only the impact it's having on the market, but what about the credibility of the United States, where we've been doing this continuing resolutions, seemingly for the last 6 years?
We have. It is a really messy process, but you and I have talked about this, Kevin. That through that messy process, they did come up with the sequester, and back a few years ago, and it really saved this country literally trillions of dollars because it forced government to spend less. It was the reason that the deficit quit expanding. Not that we didn't have huge deficits, but it stopped expanding past $1 trillion, dollars a year. It stopped that expansion because of the sequester. So it is a messy, crummy process, but at least it's slowing down the growth of government.
Our great friend Dave Petzo with us, Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Dave hosts Money Matters every Saturday, 8 to 10. So what are some of the big issues awaiting us this week?
This week, I think that's going to be on the front of everybody's mind. But there's also, as we look at the overall economy, Kevin, it's doing well. What we're seeing now is, of course, in the market, the stock market, of course, the earnings are coming out, and that's the big deal right now. All these companies are reporting. It's been good so far. We've seen the market hitting new highs, but again, more and more companies. Again, this next 2 weeks, this is the core of it, the heart of it, the reporting season. The big thing we want to look for is looking forward. Companies like Apple coming out and doing what they did with repatriating the money from overseas, and then making a commitment to spending just $350 billion over the next 5 years, an incredible sum of money. And we see more of that. I think it's going to be a big driver for business confidence.
Well, what's the impact? It's funny, last week, even though you were doing your other stuff, I was talking about you on the air because for years we've talked about if we ever got it right with the government, that all of a sudden, these businesses would repatriate all these billions or trillions of dollars. So it's happened with Apple. What does that mean to the overall U.S. economy that $350 billion will be coming in from Apple?
I think that when you think about that over the next 5 years, and again, this is one company, just one. I mean, imagine if 400 of the 500 S&P companies did something similar, maybe smaller scale, but you start accumulating that, Kevin, and then the multiplier effect. Just Apple alone over the next 5 years is going to be a contributor, no question, in my mind, that you multiply that at least 3, maybe 5 to 7 times. You're over $1 trillion easily, just the impact of one company. That's serious money starting to get into trillions. When we stop and we think about the Marshall Plan, it's an astounding thing. The Marshall Plan in today's dollars, Kevin, was $140 billion, $140 billion. In today's dollars, this is one company at $350 billion. I can't figure out trillions or billions. I guess I'm confused.
It's just the earliness of the hour, sir. Our great friend Dave Petzo with us. So what would that mean to Apple now that we've had the impact it would have on the economy? But what does that mean that they feel so confident that they're going to take their money away from the foreigners and bring it back to America? What does that mean?
It means that companies, Apple in this particular case, are confident of the business conditions in the U.S. They're confident that the tax rates are going to stay where they are. They're confident that they're going to be able to find workers and fill those slots. And that's the reason that they're expanding here. It's a great place to do business when the government steps aside. We just have never seen this. We haven't seen this since Ronald Reagan tried to diminish government. And that's through plenty of Republican administrations as well. But in 1 year, Trump has made it so business-friendly in the United States that money's coming here, the tax structure has changed, and we're also seeing foreign businesses. A lot of people forget this isn't just American business coming to America. We're seeing car companies expand in America, foreign car companies. This is a big deal. America is open for business again.
Could we be too open for business?
Well, you can always make the case that you're under-regulated, that maybe it becomes, if we were going to go put steel plants next to all the rivers again where you and I grew up. I think that's kind of not going to happen, obviously. But I think you can have a lack of regulation where pollution and things like that are too encumbering. But the answer is no, not when we have good, solid laws in place to stop any of that. I think we're going to be in a great position. I suppose we could have a shortage of labor, but I look forward to that day. I'm not going to be one of those curmudgeons that says, no, we have a shortage of labor, therefore we're going to have bad inflation, runaway inflation, it'll be terrible again. That's just another reason to look at something great where everybody has a job and figure out how something bad is in that mix.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Hank. He has a call or a comment for Dave Petzo on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Morning. We have a situation where we have double taxation. For instance, we tax dividends of corporations at the same time we have a corporate tax. Wouldn't it be better from an economic standpoint just to tax dividends alone and do away with the corporate tax? Wouldn't that have the best economic impact in the country and make more sense economically, both from a moral and economic sense?
I agree with you 100%, Hank. It would be way better than the current system we have. But at least we made a better choice of not penalizing U.S. businesses to try to compete in the world. So it is still a good bill, but I agree with you. That'd be a much better way to do it, is not to have double taxation. Corporations don't pay taxes. They pass it through in cost of goods. They pass it through by not hiring as many people. And they also simply can't make as much and produce as much here in the United States.
Yeah,
so it's a problem.
Yeah, it just seems to me that it would be more logical to tax the dividends than rather than having the outright corporate tax, and it would because in a sense, by the corporate tax, it makes it even more possible to pass the money to the average consumer, where a dividend tax it would not. Like I would think. You're
right, but also, of course, a consumption tax is even better than that. And then further, you would have to figure out how to worry about, if you would, how do we tax inside of an IRA, a retirement account, things like that, because there are many tax-exempt organizations that receive dividends, so they aren't really all taxed either.
All right, Hank, thank you for the call. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So what goes up must come down. We have Bitcoin now down to $11,000 per Bitcoin. What do you think has happened, and is the run over for Bitcoin?
You know, Kevin, I don't know if it's over, but what has happened in my mind is that you've got into a position with having futures contracts, things like that, where we have a two-way street now. You're not just betting Bitcoin is going up. You can actually make a bet that it's going down. And now that we have honest trading, open trading, instead of people that could actually hoard it, and I'm not, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I am pretty sure that a lot of people were buying and holding their Bitcoin to cause and create a shortage of Bitcoin in the market, and you can't do that anymore. Now that we have an open market, we have a two-way street. So having a sell-off here, it makes a lot of sense. Kevin, I've never, as you well know, never been a believer in Bitcoin. I wish I had. I wish I'd have taken $10,000 or whatever and thrown it in, because it'd be worth millions and millions of dollars. I missed it.
Wait a minute, you admit that you would have invested in Bitcoin?
I admit that I didn't invest in Bitcoin.
But you said that it was a regret.
Sure, of course, because anything that goes up. But to me, it's a raw speculation. There's no need or reason for Bitcoin. Yes, I get the whole technology behind it. But why not Petcoin, as we joke about all the time, and all these other coins that are coming out? Why Bitcoin? Why these other coins? It's all made up, and I don't know what the basis of it is. So to me, seeing Bitcoin, somebody saying, hey, the emperor's not wearing any clothes, doesn't surprise me now that you have the ability to trade it on the downside. And so I think Bitcoin is going to have what already has, a 50% correction? Is that right, from the highs?
Very close to that.
Very
yes.
close. So we've almost been cut in half from the highs. So Bitcoin is, at least it's out of the news on a daily basis, and to me that's a positive as well.
Well, what does that mean for cryptocurrency then?
I think there's still a long range. I think there's still hope for cryptocurrencies. I just don't think there's hope for made-up cryptocurrencies. And what I mean by that is you and I just decide we're going to make a currency. I think you're going to see the governments, maybe even companies, come up with them so that people could go into their stores and utilize it and have safe transactions, safer than, say, credit cards, things like that. So I think we're going to use this blockchain technology in a zillion different ways, of course, to do financial transactions, but I wouldn't be surprised to see stores like Macy's and certainly Amazon to create their own cryptocurrencies that you can trade to buy goods and services with them. But this idea of, they're worth, $10,000, $20,000 per Bitcoin seems absurd. I think they'll be used more for regular transactions and will not trade for as speculative investments.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, much more with Dave Petzo. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Earlier before Dave Petzo came in, we were talking a little bit about the growth in Meridian. And according to Money Magazine, Meridian has grown almost 25%, 24.6% in the last 5 years. Unheard of growth.
Yep.
Particularly when you have other cities that are bigger, that are, rivaling it or surpassing it. Very few, maybe a handful. You think about the growth of Meridian and Nampa, but 25% in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, and that's why everything is so much busier, Went up to Bogus Basin this weekend because it was one of those first ones of the year, right, to go up. And, man, you can't even find a parking place, and it's frustrating, of course. But
how was the snow up there, by the way?
I did not ski.
Was it rough?
We didn't ski because...
So wait a minute, you just went up to hang out? You can actually go up there just to hang out?
We went snowshoeing.
Oh, that sounds hard.
Beautiful.
Which is tougher, snowshoeing or cross-country skiing?
I think they're both tough. They can be. It depends how much powder you're going through. Absolutely.
So wait a minute. For the weekend, that's what you did? You put on...
And I played golf on Sunday.
Wait a minute. You put like tennis rackets on your feet, and then you just...
That's right. And then you walk around the snow.
Lumbered through
and you
the
ooh
snow.
and ah at the beautiful scenery. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Well, the idea was to go up and ski.
Should we give him a hug, everybody?
Yeah, the idea is, of course, to ski, but we couldn't even get close to the lift, and there's just piles of people. It's like, no, you know what? Let's go walk through.
There?
It was backed up. It
wow.
was not a pretty sight at the bottom. But at the same time, you got to say, look, this is what wasn't the only person to have that idea that it would be great to go get outside and enjoy the snow. Apparently, the valley has gotten a lot bigger.
I thought you had like Mount Petzo somewhere where you had your own private lodge.
Yeah, but the lift is down. So
the lift and the heating.
You have to go to the public one.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. So we get back to this though. This growth, and this is a problem that's going to plague this area for many, many years. It's a good one to have, but this incredible growth, you see it in the West Ada School District. You see it where people are coming in today, and sometimes I was taking some photography classes last week, so I came in at 6 at night, and just the bumper-to-bumper traffic, people going out, people are going, hey, there's no delays, and I'm going, this is bleeping normal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You talk about that impacting the quality of life.
It does. I mean, you think of, as you know, I have a daughter and a couple of granddaughters in Seattle. And it's a nightmare to go anywhere there. I mean, it really is. You cannot move at all. Traffic absolutely defines your life. What time you're going to go anywhere is defined by traffic, which is a really awful thing when you stop and you think about it. It really is. It's a way of life there, but it is an awful part of that way of life. And when you take that and translate it into Boise and where we're headed and how much busier it is, again, dating myself, it wasn't that long ago. I don't think it was 20 years ago that Eagle was a 2-lane road. So we get, for people that are new to the valley, they don't understand how rural really outside of the Boise, outside. There was actually room between cities, right? There was lots of room. There were miles between Boise and Meridian and Nampa.
Is that when they had horses and buggies?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Dirt roads. Yeah. It was, but you think about that and you realize we have really boomed in the last 20 years here.
Indeed. You wonder how in the world we're going to handle that. We got into a discussion last week on the idea of impact fees. We have a young man who called in, opened a restaurant in Nampa. I believe his name is Nick. and always supports us when we're at a place called Walmart. You might be familiar with it in
Walmart.
Gary. You visited it
I
a couple
I
times.
see pictures of people that go to Walmart.
Right. You've been there a few times when we've done Miller's Mission for the Boise
I
Restaurant.
have, yes.
So, he was talking about it. When he opened up his restaurant in Nampa, they charged him $25,000 in impact fees, and he didn't build out. He's in, one of those little malls or what have you, and I'm
Yep.
going, okay, he doesn't really have an impact.
Yeah, any
on-
more than what already existed.
Right. Now, building all these new subdivisions, that has an impact.
Absolutely it does. You
So
bet.
how does that work? Any ideas?
Yeah, wherever they can, any government, wherever they can get money, they steal it. That's exactly what they do, and they think they own it. They do. It's what I think. It's what people in government think: is how can I come up with more revenue to grow this pig? And that's what it is.
Pig? Did you call the government
Government
a pig?
is a pig. Pigs eat and eat and eat and eat and
My-
eat and eat. They cannot be satiated, and government never has. Of any kind. Government without control just grows. And if you don't materially say we have to try to shrink certain things in government, it continues to grow. And so it's a very natural thing. I don't care if it's a conservative mayor or city council, which I don't think they really exist. But if it doesn't matter how
not
tight they
Boise.
are with a budget or anything, it's a circumstance where you simply grow, and that's the way they think about it. I don't hear anybody in government actually saying, do you realize that property taxes in Boise are absolutely through the roof? They're just super high, and those poor business owners, especially downtown in the AC/DC area that I pay taxes on, it's okay that you pay 2% more per year. It's okay because we just need more money into this government entity. I've never heard somebody say, we've figured out a way to save some money and we're going to give it back to the taxpayers. They don't.
Well, then you couldn't buy land, which the city of Boise seems to do all the time.
They do a good bit of buying, don't they? You're right. They do.
Well, you want to live in Boise, there you go.
I know. I could go to Star and
I don't know if
is it free out there?
I don't know if you can get into Star. A lot of people since that Dairy Queen has arrived in Star, there's a waiting list.
I'll bet there is.
There's a lot of big stars in Star. That's the home of the governor.
Exactly.
There you have
Exactly.
it. More coming up with Dave Petzo next at KIDO Talk Radio. Time for traffic and weather. And back again with our friend Dave Petzo, the Petzo Center, Petzo Financial, host of Money Matters when he's not snowshoeing and doing all sorts of outrageous things on the weekends. Dave, let's, and this is another thing for people that haven't lived in the Treasure Valley. You might be searching the App Store and you find the KIDO Talk Radio app, but this is one of the only places in the world where, as you did, you can snowshoe on Saturday and golf on Sunday.
It is.
Amazing.
It is amazing when you think about it, and I'll tell you what, it was a lot warmer than I thought it would be both times. It was crazy nice, and you're right. Think of all the people that were out on the Greenbelt, the parks, everything over the weekend. And this is the middle of January. My goodness gracious, it is. We have such a beautiful climate here, and the 4 seasons that we have. That's so attractive. I mean, it really is. Think of all the mountain bikers up there this weekend too.
I wasn't thinking of them. I was watching who was going to go to the Super Bowl.
Who did go to the Super
I'm
Bowl,
on
Kevin?
the-
I can't remember. Was the Patriots? Yeah.
I'm on the other extreme. It's the
Yeah.
Patriots versus the Eagles. So let me hit you with this. The NFL ratings have been down 24% this year.
That's a lot. That's really a lot.
Last year they were down more as well. So it's cumulative. So it's great that you have New England and Philly in. And in Minnesota, but how does a business respond? Everybody's always worried about a negative Yelp review or this, that, and the other, but here you have this going on. I mean, you deal with the public all the time. Everything is a service industry, so how do you come back from a negative review or a negative trend?
That's a great point, and they always say in business, you have for every complaint you have, there's maybe 10 other people that aren't saying anything, right? That aren't out there yelling about it. They just quietly go away. And so when you start expounding on that and think about how many people are just not watching the NFL, but some people are watching, but very rarely, and they're not glued in anymore. I liken this to the baseball strike years ago when I used to watch baseball. And when they disappeared for a season, they've never come back, Kevin. I mean, yeah, they came back. Yes, they make millions of dollars. Lots of team owners are very fat and happy. But the point there is baseball is not the American pastime anymore. It's different. And I'm afraid the NFL is going this way. You have to be very careful with it. How do they come back? I think they need to hit this straight up, and they need to make a decision, and not the idea that they're just not going to show people kneeling during the national anthem. That's not doing it. That's not addressing the problem. It's that old adage that, hey, when you have a problem, you simply say, you know what, I agree with you, and we're going to make it better, but right now I want to make it right for you right now, and you fix that with the customer. I don't think the NFL's addressed it at all. They just hope it goes away.
And we have this from Jim. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Kevin. Every California license plate that is changed should have to pay a $10,000 impact fee for the first 5 years.
Only California?
A lot of people coming from California.
And the Midwest now, they're discovering as well.
Right, but a lot of people coming from California. They've got more people. What do you mean the Midwest? Well, you're importing people from the Midwest. What are you talking about, Dave Petso?
Yeah, we had to move in from
one,
and also we've had clients that moved in from the Midwest. That's right. So businesses like us we know where they come from.
So what's the outlook for the week?
The outlook for this week, I think it's still positive. I mean, the earnings are really good, and as soon as they get this government shutdown solved, and I think they will at some point, I just don't think – this is one that, Kevin, I think it's really interesting to me. I don't know how the Democrats argue about shutting down the government and win. They always win. You and I have talked about this. They always and I know the mainstream media will beat up on the Republicans, but the bottom line is that you do not negotiate about government shutdowns with something as difficult as immigration. That's not the card to play, and I think that the Democrats are wrong on this one, to shut it down and thinking they're going to get some kind of sweetheart deal on DACA.
Yeah, but you see with the DACA folks, and they're very vocal, and the heart-wringing and everything else, the media still can't get over that a portion of the population that has been marginalized and vilified under Barack Obama still runs this country.
Yep.
And as imperfect as Donald Trump is, he represents them. I mean, you have all these shots, but Trump is the guy, like Reagan, very different people, as you recall. But the voice resonates, and that is something that these folks, it's kind of like this, when something isn't working in business or sports, you change.
That's right.
They haven't changed their tune yet, and I don't know if they have another tune.
I don't know either, and it is interesting along those same lines, Kevin. When something doesn't work in government, we blame that it doesn't have enough money, and so it grows. Instead of only government would do that, right? In business, we would get rid of that stupid idea. This is terrible, or let's change it. But only in government do we do that. But you're right; it does resonate. He does resonate. Imagine if he could quit tweeting about nonsensical things. I think the tweeting is okay.
That guy is up at like 4 a.m. tweeting, because I get notifications now, and I'll see my phone light up. I go, Trump's at it again.
Yeah, exactly. And I wish he would just tone it down. I think he could become one of the most popular presidents of all time, not because he doesn't speak, he should not speak his mind, but he should tone it down and pick his battles the way Reagan did, because when you pick your battles right and you take the message to the people, they will respond. And I think he could get so much done. He's already done a lot. I just wish he would turn that corner. I think he could be amazing. You think about what's going on with Apple and all these other corporations. We are in the midst of a potential boom. And the idea that the stock market, after 6-7 years of really great, goes up another 30% since he's president is unheard of. That's absurd.
FOMO. Fear of missing out.
FOMO.
Yes, I know I want to say FOMO, but you always correct me. Dave Petso, we appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Kevin.
The Petso Center, Petso Financial, Petso Snowshoeing, Money Matters, Saturdays 8 to 10 at KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me in. Thanks.
Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie.
Good. Thank you for calling the White House. Unfortunately, we cannot answer your call today because congressional Democrats are holding government funding, including funding for our troops and other national security priorities, hostage to an unrelated immigration debate.
And there we have it, day 3 of the government shutdown. Good morning. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to the phones to get your thoughts on a lot of things, particularly the government shutdown. Do you miss the government? What if we shut down the government and nobody missed it? Pete, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Pete.
Hey, Kevin, I miss the government deeply. I just sit here at home just waiting for the government to show up and do good things for me, and they aren't here, and I've been weeping all morning. Seriously, though, I'd like to draw a parallel between what Dave Petzo was saying about the NFL losing the fan base over this taking a knee business. And that's not coming back. That's people I talked to. I don't know why the NFL decided their fan base was progressive America in the big cities. You know, I don't know, maybe they thought the metrosexuals or somebody were going to start watching them. But they lost anyone who looked at it as, A, it's a game, and B, you know, there's some patriotism involved as far as the people that watch that game tend to be patriots. And there's the same thing that I think is going on now with the FBI. When I was growing up, I read books on, you know, J. Edgar and the FBI going after the mafia and Dillinger and Babyface Nelson, and that was really cool, and they were great folks. And I'm at the point now with what they have been trying to do to Trump and their little coup there in Washington. If FBI agents showed up at my door to ask my help as a witness in something, my first reaction would be, not without a lawyer. I'm not talking to you.
You know, and we love law enforcement here, and I think they do such a great job. But I have to say, I would be torn on, you know, talking to someone without an attorney.
Oh, absolutely. I just, from what that agency has, at the upper levels under Obama, has turned into, I'm sorry, I don't trust them anymore. You look at what they're doing to the people that they were accusing of collusion, and what they're getting them on is, well, they lied to the FBI. Well, in that case, I want lawyers so every time they ask me a question, I can huddle with my lawyer and decide, is that one I should take the fifth on, or is that one I should answer, or should I say I don't remember? What should I do here?
It's also confusing, and that's why we had Chuck Ambrose on earlier, former U.S. attorney, retired U.S. attorney, because now you have this Peter Strzok, this other woman. Apparently they were having an affair. They both hated Trump. They influenced Comey into going after Hillary Clinton. Apparently now, according to The Hill, and I'm sure Mr. Hannity and Mr. Larson will have more on this, apparently now, and this again, The Hill is not the Washington Times or the Washington Examiner. The Hill is a nonpartisan thing where you say, did Lynch and Comey collude? Was Lynch coordinating with Comey? Apparently, Lynch now knew that there would be no charges brought against Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah, they weren't discussing.
Right, and here it is. Let me share it with you. Former Attorney General Loretta Lynch knew well in advance of FBI Director James Comey's press conference that he would recommend against charging Hillary Clinton. Apparently, this came out in the Senate Homeland Security Committee meeting on Friday. 358 pages. Also, text messages exchanged between Strzok and Lisa Page when we're talking about what's going on here.
Yeah, and you know, Bill Clinton and Lynch weren't talking about their grandkids on that plane.
Well, I think that was a little, because Lynch used to work for Clinton. Hey, Loretta, remember, I may not be president, but... Yeah,
but my wife is going to be.
Right.
So you better watch it. But, you know, and if I were, like Chuck Ambrose was saying, the agents and the staffers in the FBI, I'm sorry for them, but that agency they have lost the trust of the American people by what they've done in Washington.
Pete Mountain Home, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Kevin.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Liberty Linda joins us now with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio.
Yes, good morning, Kevin.
Hello, Linda.
Already a hot show this morning, Kevin. Thank you. Anyway.
Well, thank you for listening. Yes, you're welcome.
I always listen. Anyway, yes, you're absolutely right. There's great food at Dave & Buster's. I was just thinking about that the other day, so thank you for mentioning that this morning.
Right. We're going to be at Dave & Buster's once again, and I'll put something on the web. And if people want to RSVP, the number is 901-3806, but I'll be giving that out, and we'll be pumping that up. But it'll be a State of the Union watch party, and then we'll have a chance to talk about it. It's been a while since we've seen each other. I can't believe how many people, Liberty Linda, including you, have come up to me in the public when I'm just bumbling around saying, hey, why don't we have another get-together? So now we can.
Yay, I'm happy about it. And it's a wonderful place to get together as well. It's easy to find. It's so large. And like you said, great food. Everybody's very polite there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very fun night for all of us.
Well, I agree. And I think I'll be interested to hear what people have to say about the president.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, I don't know why, Kevin, but I've always felt the same way about bikinis as what you had just said this morning.
Oh, with
And I
Cindy,
don't know why I felt that way, but anyway, I feel the same way as you do about bikinis. And I felt that way since I was a young girl.
I think they should leave something for the imagination.
Yeah, I agree. And I felt that way as a young girl. So anyway, that's my opinion.
Well, I couldn't believe Cindy shared with us she used to wear a bikini.
Who used to? That Cindy did?
Cindy.
Yeah. Well, everybody has a right. I guess they can do it if they want to. But anyway, I kind of agree with you. I felt that way since I was a young girl. So anyway, just one girl.
Well, we don't need a women's march for that now, do we?
No. I don't think so. Anyway, regarding our government being held hostage, Kevin, Democrats ready to negotiate as long as they get their way. Isn't that an oxymoron?
I kind of like that.
Isn't that what they're asking for?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, I don't know. The word negotiate doesn't come in there anywhere as long as they get their own way. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about this morning. And I don't know if you noticed the skies on Sunday, but I looked out the window and the skies are absolutely a beautiful blue. And the sun was just kissing the earth so sweetly. And then, oh no, Kevin, chemtrails began all over our skies.
Uh-oh.
And the skies turned gray. I don't know if you noticed it, but anyway, I just couldn't believe it. Does anyone ever look up? Do they ever notice that this is going on in our country?
I know they do on George Norrie every night.
Yeah, I listen to George Norrie quite often. It's a really good show. I'd recommend it for anyone.
George asked me to fill in for him a few times.
I haven't heard that. That's wonderful.
I just never did it.
Wow. I think, you'd have to get up early for your show, so it'd be kind of difficult.
What are you going to do? What are you addicted to, working for George, which is a great show, or the people of the Treasure Valley?
Right.
That's where my priority is, so.
Yeah, right. You have to hold up the Treasure Valley here. We need you. We definitely need you.
Well, look, I need to be here, so it's a great partnership. Liberty Linda, we'll see you Tuesday at the State of the Union.
Looking forward to it, Kevin. Have a wonderful day today.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up next, we'll get your review on the Women's March. We'll hear from Lori in Boise and much more concerning our State of the Union party a week from Tuesday at Dave & Buster's. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be part of your day, Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Lori in Boise on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning, Kevin. I went to the march on Saturday, walked down Capitol Boulevard, the March for Life, and we heard different speakers, including a woman who had brought a little boy that she'd chosen not to abort, to undo the abortion pill, and also comments on what President Trump has done to defund abortion for overseas and so on. And as far as these, I didn't attend the march on Sunday, but that march excludes, last year they specifically excluded Stanton Healthcare, who in Boise, the pro-life organization. They excluded the pro-life people. And so when they say there's a place for everyone. They don't have a place for pro-life or other voices, and they don't have much respect for women who choose to stay at home with their children. And I recognize that's a choice. I respect everyone's choice, but I think sometimes it's demeaned to stay home and be a full-time parent. And I chose that path. I went to graduate school later on after my kids were raised and were basically raised. And when I was left a widow, so I just went on. But there's a place for pro-life voices, and I think we need to raise them higher. It was a great march. It was a great, but we don't have the numbers that we should have, and so just speaking for babies. Thanks.
All right, Laura, you'll always have a home with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Mark in Eagle with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I hope I don't lose you here. I'm coming through your stomping grounds of Star right now. I saw a Drudge Report this morning about how the illegals are pouring in over the border at Obama levels. That's why it's so important to get our wall. Last year, when I first saw we're on the Daily Breitbart Drudge and heard about Jerry Brown and the legislature down there deciding to give illegals driver's license, the first thing I said when I called in was that this is going to allow them to go out there and vote. Well, what is just what's in today's paper? What is just showing up about how Jerry Brown and company down there, the Socialist Democrat Party down there, Demon Rat Party, has decided to allow them to now register to vote. Now, this is total violation of the laws, the federal laws. We have basically a civil war going on here. And when you have an out-of-control government as what's in California doing what they're doing, and legitimizing illegals coming into this country, basically, they're going to have a lock forever as a Democrat or Socialist Democrat-controlled state. I don't see any way out of it. I don't know how the Republicans would ever get a foothold back in there again because of what's going on. I don't know if you need to have Trump go in there and basically, which would cause, I'm sure, some kind of a fight. I'm sure there'd be some shooting going on, but having a National Guard go in there with FBI, basically going to Sacramento, raid the whole damn place, and every one of them that voted for sanctuary cities there and allow this to happen, take them out of power, put them on trial for violating federal laws and basically putting our country in danger. These people leave that state, they come in other states, so here, there, whatever. I don't know if somebody coming as an illegal from another state, they're coming in here to maybe Idaho, and they turn in their California's driver's license. They're illegal. I wonder if that still allows them to maybe get a legal driver's license here. I don't know. I want your thoughts on that, sir. And you have a good day.
All right, Mark. We'll tell you in a minute. First, traffic and weather together at KIDO. Let's go to Butch in Melba with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Butch.
Hey, kiddo. How you been?
That would be KIDO, and we're doing wonderful, sir. And you?
Well, I'm doing good, kiddo. It's been a long time, and I'll just calling in, listening to some of the people, and I wanted to just make a couple comments, because when you're old like me, you can say whatever you want, and that's one of the great things about getting old. Now, back to the bikinis. We still talk about that?
Go ahead, little buddy.
Yeah, my wife, God rest her soul, she's been gone for a while, but she wore a bikini till 70 years old, Millie. And that woman kept herself looking nice, and she looked fine, and I miss her terribly. But the thing is that the other women that don't like the bikinis is because they don't have nothing to show, and they're a bit of a mess.
Well, that's not very nice. I think that people, Butch, can like bikinis or not like bikinis.
I think it's a jealousy thing. That's what it is. It's called envy and jealousy, Millie. And when you get older, you're going to figure these things out.
I think I already have. I was born old.
Well, I got one more thing to say, too, because the Lord has been listening to me. And I just heard that Liberty Linda called, and she's into George Norrie and the UFO.
Thank you, Butch. All right, Kevin Miller in the morning. Fox News next. Good morning.